We celebrate a lot of things in May. The whole month is dedicated to our children. This week is Education and Global Road Safety Week. On Sunday, we show special appreciation to our mothers, and today we honor our teachers and to spend some time looking at the importance of migratory birds. And just like the month, there is much in today's Jamaica Magazine. We start things off with the news of the day. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay tuned.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, May 10. Government has announced that this year's Labor Day activities will support and enhance the Jamaica 55 agenda. Projects on May 23 will therefore be executed under the Jamaica 55 theme of celebrating Jamaicans at home and abroad with a particular mission to restore, preserve, and beautify. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, made the announcement at yesterday's launch of Labor Day 2017.
We're urging Jamaicans to clean up and beautify their environment and landmarks, including monuments, community centers, recreational parks, and public spaces that may be used to not only stage the celebrations, but which will renew the spirit of community and togetherness.
There are to be two national projects tied to the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation's 145th anniversary and the Jamaica Constabulary Force's 150th anniversary this year.
And so, what has been selected this year as twin projects is the Ward Theatre and the Central Police Station.
There will also be a project with national focus in every parish and Portmore. Minister Grange says the observation will feature efforts to restore and safeguard historically and culturally important buildings and landmarks. Labor Day will also mark the start of a program to produce 55 murals across the island. And Ms. Grange used the function to announce a special partnership between her ministry and the National Environment and Planning Agency, which will be using the International Day for Biological Diversity to launch its Million Tree Challenge. It encourages Jamaicans to plant 1 million trees by June 30, 2019 as part of NEPA's Trees for Life campaign. The International Day for Biological Diversity is observed on May 22 each year. Workers' Week 2017 was also launched at Jamaica House yesterday. The week will be celebrated from May 15 to 23, focusing once again on honoring the workers of Jamaica. Minister Grange says the week will be used to engage the wider population on matters relating to productivity, work ethic, and industrial relations as important elements of national development. The commemoration will also highlight the contribution of national hero Sam Sharp and his fight for Jamaicans and particularly workers.
We must never forget or take for granted the sacrifices of people such as Sharp and others for the freedoms we have today.
A motor vehicle pre-shipment inspection program will take effect on July 1. Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Carl Samuda made the announcement during his contribution to the sectoral debate yesterday. He pointed out that motor vehicle pre-shipment inspection was already an element of the motor vehicle import policy that was adopted in April 2014, but said the process would now be implemented. It is to address issues such as consumers purchasing vehicles that turn out to be older than indicated on the supporting documents and odometers being rolled back. To address and give redress to these issues, the pre-shipment inspection process will exercise due diligence in determining the history of vehicles, model year, roadworthiness, radioactive contamination, and odometer reading.
We feel it gives the consumers greater protection. And it is a system whereby after inspection, the exporter cannot go where the vehicle is. It's isolated, so there's no possibility of contamination.
The Cannabis Licensing Authority, CLA, has approved the granting of 2 full-fledged licenses, one for the cultivation and the other for the processing of marijuana. That announcement also came during yesterday's sectoral presentation by the Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. Minister Samuda said both were Tier 1 licenses and the CLA's approval was granted just last week. He also informed Parliament that the authority was processing 210 license applications, of which 26 conditional approval letters had been issued.
I must say that Tier 1 is the majority of the applications, and it covers approximately 1 acre of land. So these are small entities.
Addressing the pace at which licenses are approved, Mr. Samuda said his ministry and the CLA were obligated to adhere to the highest level of due diligence.
Our current position is that we will not be pushed into making hasty decisions which compromise the process. We will act in a manner consistent with the existing rules and regulations regarding the cultivation of marijuana for medical use.
And finally, adolescent mothers from the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation are to benefit from a large donation of baby and school supplies. The items have been donated by the Jump Ministries Global Church through its Project Life initiative. The donation includes baby carriers, diapers, strollers, clothes, baby food packets, baby hygiene products and toys, as well as stationery, calculators and school bags. At this Tuesday's handing over, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange said the donation complemented government support to the adolescent mothers to enable them to achieve their highest potential. And that's it for GIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
Titillate your taste buds. Come with us as we take you on a taster journey through the Jamaica Blue Mountain Culinary Trail.
Imagine a tour on which you'll eat till you're full, dining against the backdrop of the blue hues of the mountains, sipping authentic Blue Mountain coffee. Sounds appealing? Then you must, if only once, venture on the Jamaica Blue Mountain Culinary Trail. The Ministry of Tourism has embarked on a gastronomic mission to promote Jamaica as a culinary destination. This is the main aim of the Gastronomy Network, one of 5 networks established recently by the ministry. The first product of the Gastronomy Network was the implementation of the Jamaica Blue Mountain Culinary Trail. This is a tour of eateries and attractions nestled within the UNESCO-designated World Heritage Site of Jamaica's Blue Mountains. Whether you take the Eastern or Western Trail, you'll have access to at least 15 participating venues.
Gastronomy, or food tourism, as people commonly refer to it across the world, represents 88% of the reason that people travel. Therefore, will be responsive to the palates of the world. What we have to do is to prepare it a little differently, present it a little more appealing, and to move it from basic street food to the highest level of gourmet.
Wet the palate with hors d'oeuvres, dip into Strawberry Hill Restaurant's coffee ice cream, or drink coffee at a more than a century-old farm.
From Colombia, we also say Colombia's coffee is really good and we're really proud about it. So it was really interesting to hear the Jamaican perspective of their own coffee. The coffee was delicious and it's really amazing to be able to have a cup of coffee, look into the mountains and just like enjoy. So the coffee was definitely the highlight for me today.
Jamaicans talk about how great our coffee is, but I don't think we have any idea why. And that's what I learned today. It was phenomenal.
Vegetarians, meat lovers, those into traditional cuisine, or Jamaican fusion meals, there's a bite for every appetite. The Jamaica Blue Mountain Culinary Trail provides a getaway for nature buffs and foodies, wrapped up in one journey. The tour stops at about 4 restaurants, each boasting a historic or cultural backdrop. After dining, there lies an opportunity to walk off the food with the Akampong Maroon drummers.
Our aim is to preserve the integrity and uniqueness of the region. The beauty, diversity, and sheer magnificence of the region is unparalleled.
The Ministry of Tourism has identified gastronomy tourism as a medium for diversifying destination Jamaica. Through the Tourism Linkages Network, the Gastronomy Network is offering locals and visitors a tasty treat of the Jamaica Blue Mountains. To plan your own food trail inside the mountains, contact the Gastronomy Network. They're located at the Jamaica Tourism Center, 64 Knutsford Boulevard, New Kingston, or call them at 920-4926-30.
Education Week is an excellent opportunity to celebrate the important role that education plays in building our society. A high-quality education system is the heart and vision for our country. With education being at the core of Jamaica's mission for social change and development, we must continue our efforts to raise the bar in celebrating our teachers, as teachers are the vanguards of sustained transformation. It must also be underscored that our educators, along with the home and church, are one of the first avenues through which knowledge is introduced. They foster the foundation upon which hidden talents and abilities are awakened. The information imparted will influence decisions that can positively or negatively impact the society. The chosen theme, navigating the education landscape, transforming, engaging, collaborating, facilitating, and leading, is both relevant and applicable. It clearly indicates the many facets of the teaching process and the contributions of this noble profession. Our teachers are curators of the professionals, nation builders, and world leaders who engender change and promote a world worth living in. I invite all Jamaicans to celebrate the success of our students and the strengths of our educators during this special week. I use this medium to encourage everyone to embrace the activities associated with this endeavor. I pledge the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information support and extend best wishes for a successful week.
Today, as we commend the wonderful work being done by our teachers, we acknowledge that more can be done to help our students reach their fullest potential. If you feel as if you're being called to help mold young minds and want to take your place in this noble profession, especially in the area of reading, listen up.
Let's try to put those together. Again. What's that word? Pops. Pops. Call that word. Pops. Call the word. Pops. This word says pops. All right.
Michina Colson is a school-based literacy coordinator for the Ministry of Education.
Oh, this is my passion.
And that is usually the case for just about everyone who pursues this particular career path.
You have to be committed. You have to be patient. To treat with reading problems is not easy, right? But you have to be committed to the task.
A literacy specialist, sometimes called a reading specialist, is an educator who helps students develop their literacy skills.
And we talk about literacy skills, we're talking about writing, oral language or speaking, listening, and critical thinking. You take a clinical approach to teaching. So there you treat with the difficulties, reading difficulties, writing difficulties, and all of that.
We work on the words and then we go to the actual reading. So it's a step-by-step process. I also use the guided reading where I would read along with them. I would guide them into reading.
We also have those students who are performing above, and so the job of the literacy specialist is to provide enrichment programs so you know how to treat with those students as well.
We tie in with the regular classes through consultation as well as through observation of what the children are doing and so on. He, come on, he forgot. So remember that word from this board. Let's read again. He forgot. Say forgot.
Persons who take on this job are expected to have taken a number of post-secondary courses that focus specifically on literacy or reading education. A bachelor's or master's degree may be necessary.
You have different tertiary institutions that you can go. I know the Jamaica University, they have a lot of reading programs, they offer a lot of reading programs, and also degree in literacy in reading. And the University of the West Indies, they also have a bachelor's course in literacy studies and a master's course as well, and you can do that face-to-face or online. And I think Monique Teachers College, they have a literacy program there as well.
As long as the school or program you choose is accredited, your certification should also work in other countries. But
you need to, however, learn the culture of the places that you go to, because with literacy, you have to really teach it according to culture.
And locally or overseas, there is a solid demand for literacy specialists.
Yes, there are. And the schools, especially the primary schools and even the high schools, they have a high demand for literacy specialists.
Earning potential is also good, with local jobs attracting as much as 7-figure salaries and comparable numbers overseas.
So it's very lucrative.
So that I can give back really to my community, to my area, in whatever way I can. And this is my little way of doing that.
First and foremost, I have a passion. I have a love for reading, a passion for literacy. I love to help people, I love to help students. And one of my major success is getting a child who don't even know letter sounds. And at the end of a year or at the end of even 6 months, that child can read even a paragraph, and that is satisfying for me.
This word says what? Fox. This word says fox. That's 2 animals already we see in the story, right? Good job. Wow.
Nick, I got it. Google. You got us a job at Google? Not a job. It's an interview for an internship that could lead to a job.
Welcome to Google. This will not be your average internship.
We're looking at some sort of mental Hunger Games against a bunch of genius kids for just like a handful of jobs.
That's a Sharpie, by the way, genius.
Funny, but it is a real-life practice. Companies do provide work experience for students or young professionals, sometimes with a stipend, but often unpaid. Here's why you might want to consider this route. You gain valuable work experience, which can boost your resume and therefore employability. You're exposed to the office and work culture, so the learning curve is less steep once you actually get a job. You get to test your love of a particular career without being committed to a job right now. You can network with influential people in your career field to help you find work later, and you're positioned to develop new skills. To find an apprenticeship position, try going through the phone book and calling companies in your field of interest and ask if they're accepting apprentices. You may also check in with your school's career counselor, friends, or relatives. Once you know where to apply, send in a resume and personalize the cover letter showing not just your skills, but also emphasizing what the company will gain from accepting you. There may be no salary to think of, but an apprenticeship position might just pay off huge dividends in the long run. Think about it. I'm Kerry. Till our next meeting, consider these words from former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Literacy is a bridge from misery to hope. It is a bulwark against poverty and a building block of development. Literacy is the road to human progress and the means through which every man, woman, and a child can realize his or her full potential.
Sell me number 5 for $100.
Child, you're too young for your gamble. And me, you want to get in a trouble? Go on home.
Underage gambling is illegal. If caught enabling a minor to engage in gambling activities, you can be fined up to $1 million or 3 months in prison. Call Crime Stop now to report illegal gambling. You don't have to give your name. A message from the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission.
Our smallest road users need extra protection to navigate the busy traffic thoroughfares. Here's how you can protect our children as they travel.
Life in any form is a gift too precious to measure. The birth of brand new possibilities and exciting potential for whatever. For those at the early stages of this journey, it is expected that the ones who are older, those in positions of guardianship, will take the steps necessary to ensure their safety in all areas, not least of all as they travel from one destination to another.
I think every single adult who is a driver has a tremendous responsibility, not only for the safety of children, but the safety of other drivers, pedestrians. Driving comes with a tremendous responsibility, and it's up to you to remain alert, particularly when it comes to children. We are their guardians.
Children are among our most vulnerable road users. It's why the Ministry of Transport and Works, and particularly the Road Safety Unit, has spent time coming up with measures to ensure that the traffic environment for them is as safe as possible.
The law comes down very heavily on the side of children when we act irresponsibly, and as a result they are injured.
Laws like the Road Traffic Act, the Child Care and Protection Act, and the Protective Devices legislation speak to the issue in some way.
I'm just gonna... I want drivers to stop, and I am at the pedestrian crossing.
Drivers who ignore the prompting of a traffic warden to stop before reaching the place where children are crossing or seeking to cross, or who put the vehicle in motion before the children have completely crossed the road, commit an offense under the Road Traffic Act. The Ministry of Transport and Works is also doing its part to ensure that pedestrian crossings are maintained, sidewalks are provided, and appropriate signs are installed, including at designated school zones.
I think parents really need to ensure that children are trained as to how to cross the road.
Today's show has come to an end, but information from the JIS is always at your fingertips. Visit our website, jis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter at JIS News or like our Facebook page. Got feedback or comments on today's show? Send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.